Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this month's Cuppa with a Key Worker from Church Army. I'm Neil Thompson, Head of Communications for Church Army, and together with my colleague Will, we'll be managing the evening behind the scenes. As usual, if you're on Facebook or on YouTube, you can interact with us by commenting, and the team will see your comments and will pop some of your questions up on screen so that participants can answer any questions you've got. So why not comment now by saying hello and where you are? It's always encouraging to see how far and wide people are tuning in from. If you're here for the first time, then welcome to you especially. If you want to be able to comment from Facebook, you'll need to give StreamYard, which is our broadcast platform, permission to work with your Facebook account. So we'll put a link on screen on how to do that. Tonight, we're focusing on one of our major projects in London as we prepare to extend its services. So I'll hand over to our host, Neville Willerton, and he'll tell you more about the spotlight for this evening. Neville.
Neil, thank you. As Neil was explaining, the focus on tonight is the Marylebone Project in London. I'm Neville Willerton. I'm the Director of Operations for Church Army. We're an evangelistic charity within the Anglican Church. Our vision is for everyone, everywhere, to encounter God's love and be empowered to transform their communities through faith shared in words and in action. So thank you for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. Would not be the same without you. So thank you for joining in with us. As Neil said, please do join in with the chat function, comments or questions that you want to send across and where you're coming from. I know that you will be inspired by this evening. All of our work within Church Army is with the margins, be it young people struggling with mental health in Wales, young people who are homeless within Wales, addicts within Scotland or in England, women who are working on the street in a northern city. Tonight, I'm so excited to share with you some amazing work taking place within our Marylebone Project. This project goes to the heart of our work to the margins of society. The Marylebone Project is a partnership between Church Army and the Portman House Trust. We provide 112 long and short-term beds to homeless women in the City of London. We offer support to women who visit our drop-in centre, which is now called the Sanctuary, within the Marylebone Project. To the casual observer, you might think that the project is about housing 112 homeless women. It does that, but it does much, much more. The Marylebone Project also delivers education, employment, training opportunities in order to support service users into independent living. The mission statement of the project, of the Marylebone Project, is to empower women to end their homelessness and to live lives to the full. Fantastic mission statement. Those are undergirded by values of hospitality, which is about welcoming and respecting women in an inclusive, safe and secure environment. It's about empowerment, equipping women to make informed choices. It's also about resettlement, encouraging and supporting women into independent living. And lastly, It's also about spirituality, giving each woman hope to live life to the full, because God loves all of us unconditionally. Every year, the Marylebone Project sets a challenge to support as many women as possible into moving into independent living. This year has seen a significant rise, with 95 women being settled into independent living. The project provides nearly 39,000 bed nights throughout this past year, offering shelter, hope, safety, and support to women who would otherwise have to remain on the streets or in situations detrimental to their mental and physical well-being. For the 5th consecutive year, 100% of the women who have been resettled into independent living have maintained their accommodation. And this is even more to testament to the staff that you're going to meet tonight and the team behind them, their commitment, compassion, and support for the women during this pandemic. Through the generous support through the London Evening Standard, we have transformed what was the drop-in to the sanctuary. We are thrilled that our centre has just this week has become a 24-hour service for homeless women. Ruhama is the centre manager for the sanctuary, and she's going to be presenting in a few moments about her work and about some of the women that she serves. I hope I don't embarrass her at this moment, but Ruhama and her team have done a stunning job in creating this with many other people as a gift to the most vulnerable people in the City of London. Before I hand it over to her, I want to take you on a virtual tour of the sanctuary.
A beautiful wooden reception desk has been built and also repositioned so that now as women walk through the door, they are directly greeted with a warm and smiling reception. We now have a brand new, fully furnished kitchen for the women to be able to make their own food, drink and snacks. Centre clients and residents also volunteer to help prepare meals. We have several key services based within our advice room. A nurse clinic is based in the advice room on a fortnightly basis, offering sexual health screenings and general checkups. A specialist drop-in offering support for survivors of domestic abuse, and also specialist substance misuse advice and support. Our training room has been decorated, offering a bright, spacious and flexible space for many different uses. It provides our women with a facility where they can receive services such as body alignment massages, specialist workshops and counselling sessions, enabling the staff to work more efficiently and helping the women maintain their well-being. A calming and peaceful place for women to rest and restore their energy. The natural lighting offers therapeutic and antidepressant effects, and our cosy chairs and beanbags offer a place to simply chill. Previously, the IT rooms were cramped due to a lack of desk space. However, we now have built-in desks installed around the perimeter of the room, providing a stylish and more spacious feel to the space. There has been an impressive makeover of the shower rooms. They now have a contemporary and luxurious feel. Features of the shower room include underfloor heating. The feedback on the shower room has been phenomenal. Many women say they feel like they are visiting a spa or a hotel. We also have facilities for women to do the laundry.
Thank you for showing that. I hope you were inspired. I'd love to hear what you think of your virtual tour of the sanctuary and what you think about it. I'm going to invite Rahama, who runs our centre. She's the centre manager for the sanctuary. She's going to join me now, and she's going to share a little bit about her work. And while she's getting ready to present, I would just love for you to know there was no cutting corners in creating the sanctuary for homeless women. It's like walking into a hotel reception. What an amazing gift to homeless women. I mean, underfloor heating in the bathrooms. It is absolutely stunning. Rahama, can I hand over to you to share a little bit about the centre and about your work?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Neville, for the warm welcome. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rahama, and I manage the sanctuary at the Marylebone Project. We are absolutely ecstatic that the sanctuary has now become a 24-hour service, enabling homeless women to access our service throughout the day and throughout the night. And what that has meant is, through the funds that have been raised, we've been able to recruit a brand new advice team. So we've got a team of advice workers who are on hand to provide advice and guidance to women who are coming through the sanctuary, and that's, you know, in the daytime and the nighttime. And as you just saw, the funds that were raised have enabled us to refurbish the sanctuary. And as Neil said, the feedback has been absolutely phenomenal. The women feel like they're in a spa or a hotel. And as you can imagine, the women who are coming in to our service have been through some unspeakable things. They've experienced trauma. So coming into such a therapeutic environment has been very, very effective and has just been impacted them so much. So the issue of women's homelessness is particularly acute. And many women who are sleeping rough are vulnerable to physical abuse, sexual abuse. Just the other week, we had a referral of a woman who was sleeping rough, and her sleeping bag was set on fire. We've also had women, one service user was complaining that she was sleeping rough in her tent, and a passerby who was drunk tried to get into her tent and completely terrified her. We've had women speaking about, experiences of going to mixed shelters and being made to feel incredibly unsafe in those environments. Some of them have been propositioned by, the other male clients who are living in that environment. So really having a women-only project, or the sanctuary, it's life-changing for the women, honestly. Just very recently, the numbers in the sanctuary are increasing. So the demand to try and find women housing at very, very short notice has increased. We had one woman come in last week, and she needed to find housing very, very urgently. Now the team worked, really, really hard to try and find her somewhere to bed down for the night. This was before we became a 24-hour service. We exhausted all of our options, but we were not able to find this woman anywhere to stay. And it was horrendous. She was hysterical. She was so terrified that she'd be spending the night on the streets. Thankfully, now we won't have to do that again. We can say to these women, as long as we have the capacity, you can stay at the sanctuary until we can find you something more permanent. And this project is literally life-changing. So we're just very, very, very thankful. What do we have on offer? We provide an initial assessment to kind of gauge what the women's needs are. We also have 4 emergency beds that we can refer women into. As you saw, we have beautiful showering facilities. We provide hot meals all throughout the night. We have laundry facilities. We offer clothing, toiletries, access to computer, a range of activities. We also have some very specialist services at the sanctuary for women to access. We're going to be having counselling services, substance misuse support, and we have a domestic violence drop-in starting from Monday next week. Now, some of the reasons for the women have had for accessing the sanctuary include mental health. We've seen women whose mental health has deteriorated so much that they've been having paranoid thoughts or psychosis, and they've not been able to engage in permanent housing, so they've actually become street homeless. So we've been able to link them in with the relevant mental health services, which has been amazing. We've seen women fleeing abuse. Just last week, we had a woman access the sanctuary. She was covered in bruises because she was living in shared accommodation, and she was being physically attacked by someone who she was sharing the accommodation with, a random stranger, being attacked in her room when she went to use the kitchen. And due to a language barrier, she was having issues advocating for herself. She wasn't being taken seriously by the authorities. So we've been able to provide some holistic support. We've supported her to the hospital. We're looking for alternative accommodation, and we're liaising with the police on her behalf. And she actually stayed at the sanctuary from Monday when we became a 24-hour, and actually she's there now, and she'll be staying with us until we can find her somewhere more permanent. Immigration issues is also another cause for women accessing the sanctuary, people not having any access to benefits or not being able to work. So they're actually left destitute and stranded and become street homeless. COVID-19 has actually seen some of our women become street homeless overnight. We had one client who was a live-in carer, and due to the pandemic, she wasn't able to stay at her employee's home anymore, and she has no other family or friends in the UK. So she was made street homeless and was forced to ride night buses to try and stay safe. We've noticed that physical health has been a real issue for the women who've been accessing the sanctuary. And we've spent a lot of time linking people in with the hospital and GPs. We've had to call emergency services quite a few times where women have been sleeping rough. It's affected their physical health quite badly. And of course, when women access the sanctuary initially, they come with low self-esteem, very little confidence, sometimes suicidal ideation. And we have many programs and support on offer that can help to kind of rebuild their confidence and their trust in what we're doing. And so we have, confidence building workshops. We have pampering days as well, meditation sessions. So there's very, very holistic support on offer for the women. So we also have a meaningful activity program, and the women who access the sanctuary can, come on board and access a range of amazing courses and activities. During the pandemic, 60% of our women were made redundant. But our Women into Work program has helped 3 women just in the past 5 weeks to find paid employment. We've also linked 7 other people up with interviews as well. We provide courses like, level 2 health and social care, accredited childcare courses, business skills and entrepreneurship. We also provide an opportunity for women to get involved in some creative activities like gardening, art therapy, boxer size as well. And we're also going to be running acting classes as well. So that's been really amazing to see women who were once street homeless coming in and accessing a range of courses to equip and empower them, into independence later on in their lives. Partnerships. So one of the ways that we support the women is by linking up with organizations and services who can kind of add to what we're doing. So, for example, Vodafone are running IT classes for the women. Warner Brothers provided interview skills workshops and employment skills workshops for the women. Next also spent some sessions with the women, showing them how to apply for jobs on their website, and linking them with opportunities for paid employment. The Westminster Business School have been amazing too. They have provided a bespoke course for women to develop and learn how to start up their own businesses. And we have some women who've accessed the sanctuary who actually want to become business owners. So we're going to be supporting them on their journey with that. BNP Paribas, a local bank, they've been absolutely amazing. They have provided some of our women with paid employment in various departments within the bank. And Selfridges, we've recently partnered with Selfridges, and I have to say that this has been one of the biggest volunteering offerings I've ever seen. Selfridges have come on board. They've actually helped to refurbish and redecorate some of our spaces. They've provided educational programs for the women. And I'll just show you one of the rooms in the sanctuary. So this is the quiet room before Selfridges were involved. And as you can see, a team of people came in and helped us to style and develop the rooms. So thank you very much. They've also been giving us donations for the women. Yeah, their offering has just been absolutely amazing. In terms of empowerment, the women who access the sanctuary can come on board and they can get involved in policy writing groups. We've actually had law students coming in to deliver Know Your Rights sessions on a variety of issues, from employment law to stop and search to domestic violence. We are empowering the women to have their voices heard by putting on an art exhibition where we are challenging the perceptions of homelessness. The women are able to run service user-led workshops as well. And really the next step would be to get the women involved in local government and sort of influencing policy and having their voices heard at that level. So we're always in need of donations and volunteers throughout the year. You know, we're in need of things like toiletries, clothing, and also luggage. We would love to, you know, get more volunteers on board, and that can be in a variety of areas. People could come on board and deliver language sessions, recreational activities. Due to becoming a 24-hour service, food is always needed. So we would love to have more kitchen volunteers as well. So yeah, I would really just like to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been involved in making this 24-hour sanctuary possible. We've actually, you know, impacting so many women's lives. One woman actually said that this was a lifesaver for her. So yeah, I want to just extend a massive thank you to everyone who's helped to make this possible. Thank you very much.
Rahama, thank you. I was on the edge of my seat as you were talking, particularly as you were telling the stories of women just in desperate situation on the streets, and abusive situations as well, and how the Marylebone Project as a whole, but particularly the sanctuary, makes such a difference in vulnerable women's lives. Rahama, there's just a couple of questions from some of our viewers. A lady called Jane asked the question, what changes has you had to make to your staffing to able to open 24 hours a day?
Well, yeah, we're in the process of recruiting a brand new team. So whilst we're doing that, we've been able to have some agency staff to kind of help us. We've also employed more volunteers to also help with the workload. So yeah, we've also had a new team leader imposed as well. So yeah, I'd say having more advice workers has been the biggest change. It's a completely new team. I've just seen a question come through. If we minister to any homeless women, are we allowed to refer
Rahama,
them
thank you for that. Another question, if we minister to any homeless women, so this is from a lady from the London context, how do they refer them to you?
Yep, that's a fantastic question. So you can call us up and you can actually complete a triage form very, very quickly over the phone. And yeah, you can women can either self-refer themselves, or you can just call us up and let us know that woman's details. We will complete a very, very quick triage form with you over the phone. And if we do have capacity, that woman will be able to access the sanctuary that night.
Thank you for that. Neville is having some connection problems there, so we'll carry on. There's no more. Has anybody else got any questions they want to ask before we move on to the next part of this? There's none coming through, but we can come back to them later on. So, Rahama, thank you very much for that. Is there anything else you wanted to say? Oh, Nev's back with us now, so I'll bring Nev in as well, just if he wants to round off as well.
Rahama, thank you. Neil, thank you for standing in. I'm having internet problems. So thank you for Rahama for sharing all that you've done. Thank you for your energy, your passion for vulnerable women, and all that you and the team have done for the sanctuary is truly inspiring. It goes to the heart of what we seek to do within Church Army. So thank you so much for all that you do and bring to the project. Rahama, I think we're going to watch now a short clip of a lady that you know who's been coming to the sanctuary and the difference that the project and particularly the sanctuary has made within her life.
Around this time last week, I was homeless. I'd slept rough for a night, and I made a call to StreetLink, and they referred me to the Marylebone Project. They said it's a day centre that you can go, that women can go to, and they can stay, and there are activities, and you'll get looked after. They feed you, and yeah, it's a great place to go. So I went there in the morning after having slept rough, and it was an absolutely fantastic, it is an absolutely fantastic place. The staff are professional and friendly, and they can't do enough for you. You can go there, you can take a shower, there are cooking classes, knitting classes, exercise classes, or you can just sit and chill, watch a movie, and I've just found it absolutely fantastic. It's been a lifesaver for me, because I'm staying in a shelter, but it opens at 6. So where else is there for me to go during the day? So this is the place to go. And I'm so glad that I'm here. And when I do get back on my feet and find a job, I would love to volunteer here and donate some clothes, all that kind of thing. I'd absolutely love to do it, give back, because they've given me so much. And it's, you know, I've made a lot of friends, and the staff, I've made friends with the staff, and they've made friends with me. It's like a family. So yes, absolutely fantastic.
Thank you for that, Rahama, and lining up that interview with one of the women who've been really benefited from the project, and particularly from Sanctuary. Another part of the Marylebone Project is social enterprise. Munch at Marylebone helps to create meals for businesses right across the City of London. I must say, I've tasted a number of meals from Munch at Marylebone, and they are fantastic. Munch at Marylebone brings important income to help to run the project. However, the most important part of this is that it trains homeless women in catering and hospitality so that they can have options for work in hotels, cafes and restaurants across the city. I'm delighted to say that Smahen has joined us tonight. Smahen is the operations manager for the whole of the project, the Marylebone Project, and she's stepping in. Smahen, you've been doing that a fair bit recently, haven't you? Stepping in.
I have. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, so thank you. And Smahen, I think you're going to share with us in a few moments about Munch at Marylebone. But before that, I think we've got a short clip to watch that will give you a taste, please forgive the pun, about the food that we create. That looks absolutely fantastic, Smahen. Could you share with us a little bit about social enterprise and particularly Munch at Marylebone?
I will. Thank you very much, Neville. And good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me today. Don't know about everyone else, but looking at all of that food on the video, it's made me a little bit hungry. I'm just going to talk a little bit about Munch and Space, which is made in Marylebone. I don't know if you can see my screen. Oh, not yet. Sorry. Give me a second.
Smahen, just whilst you do that, I see a question that's come through by a lady called Margaret, who's asking the question, can women be referred from any part of London? So the Marylebone Project and the Sanctuary are based in Westminster, but indeed, yes, women from any part of London can be referred to our project. Sorry, Smahen, over to you.
That's fine. Thank you very much. So who are Made in Marylebone? So we have a social enterprise, and the main focus is to empower our vulnerable women by giving them an opportunity to work in 2 areas. So that's Space in Marylebone and Munch in Marylebone. So I am going to go through a little bit more about what Space and Munch offer. And the skills gained are communication skills, teamwork, confidence, time management, customer service, and much, much more. I mean, let's start with communication. A lot of our women, when they do first enter our doors, communication is not at the greatest. Lack of trust is there. Obviously, they might have been rough sleeping. They might not have had any social support network. They're meeting new people for the first time, new staff, new service users. So just building that communication from the first get-go. Some of them don't have English as a first language. So yeah, communication's a big one for us. Just going to skip through. So what success looks like for us at Marylebone: confident and independent women, moving women into employment, repeating customers who buy for quality and not out of sympathy, and financial sustainability. So this is our space rooms. We have 3 at the moment that we hire, and they are based in our building, Elgood. That is where we house most of our women who are more ready to get into independent living. We do have in our website where you can actually query on when and how many people you would like for each room. At the moment, because of COVID, we haven't been able to open up our rooms for over a year now. It's been about 18 months now, but we are looking to hopefully open up soon. And Munch in Marylebone, again, we've got some beautiful pictures of our food. We try and engage our women through cooking and baking. We provide catering for events and meetings. And our philosophy is tasty, fresh, and healthy food using local ingredients as much as possible. Our service user engagement. So you've got one of our service users there making some beautiful food. Our women are given the opportunity to volunteer in the Munch kitchen. And this is a different kitchen from the one that you saw at the sanctuary. This is a much bigger kitchen at the back of our sanctuary centre. And it's to help cater for the booked meetings and events. This provides work experience for our service users who are taught by a highly qualified and experienced professional chef. So below we've got our service user preparing a breakfast buffet for the Blue Water Energy Company and canapes for the engine, and an organisation and cakes for Bayswater COVID-19 response team. So this is throughout the pandemic. These are just a few of the organisations that we cater for. So what have we been doing so far? Empowering women by enabling them to volunteer at external events, providing customer service, and over 100 volunteering hours have been completed. Providing fresh meals to corporate customers, in-house customer service courses, and a 12-week catering course, and recently received funding from FareShare, who will be providing barrister training. Many of our women, especially within Munch, aspire to work in the catering industry. So the barrister training is a real asset to have. So our service users learners journey, it starts with taster sessions. So they'll do taster sessions with our catering coordinator just to get a feel for what Munch actually involves. They also receive rewards such as time credits, and these can be used in supermarkets, in leisure centres, at the gym, theatres, cinemas, spas. There's a variety of places where they can use those time credits. So the more they volunteer, the more time credits they receive. We do offer food hygiene training, customer service training. Our women have been learning more about allergens and how to label food correctly. And then eventually, hopefully, we try and get our women into employment, whether that's as a barista, whether that's as a chef, a sous chef, trying to get them into employment through the catering industry with our connections and partnerships. So the type of services that we have provided Catering, for example, we've provided catering to TLC marketing companies, Fairphone and Capital Enterprise, much more. I wouldn't be able to list all of them, but there are so many organizations that we have provided catering for. We've had market stalls at Baker Street in central London, Merchant Square and Expedia. We've also opened like a cafe at Hub Westminster and Leonidas. I have a testimonial from a few of our service users who were part of Munch. I'll just read them out. It has been a brilliant learning curve working with Munch because there are so many things going on at once. I learned so much about precision, relationships, kindness, and encouragement. I feel I've been more confident as a baker. So that was one of our in-house residential residents. And then the next one is, I like working with Munch because I enjoy cooking. I love trying new recipes. It's also a good way to say thank you to the people who've been helping us. And that's another one of our lovely residents. So since COVID happened, social enterprise space, we have not yet reopened the space rooms for hire. So it has had a knock-on effect financially for us as an organisation. However, we do believe that there will be a higher demand since the pandemic occurred. We've had so many queries on when we will reopen. And because a lot of organisations have now had their offices closed, companies have been wanting to book rooms like ours to hold meetings and training sessions. So we are hopeful that we will see an increase in queries. And we hope to reopen soon, as we also employ a social enterprise administrator. And then Munch, since the pandemic, we have been very creative in how we have had to support our women. A lot of support that we've been offering has been virtual. Our lovely catering coordinator tried to be quite creative by creating baking boxes, which equipped our women to follow recipes, instructions, timings, and decoration to prepare for when an event or an order comes through after lockdown eases and people were able to maintain, have contact with one another. I've just got some of the baking boxes that were sent to our women during the pandemic. So that's the contents of the baking boxes. And then that was the packaging. So what's next for Made in Marylebone? So we are hoping to have a full team in place to fully reopen Space and Munch. We're still looking to build partnerships and source new customers, looking for more opportunities and partnerships for our women to gain further experience and qualifications within the catering industry. And we are looking at new and creative ways we can sell our produce. For example, food huts and pop-up stalls. Thank you very much for listening today. If you have any questions, please feel free to share them.
I'm not sure what's happened to Neville. He's around somewhere, but let's just have a look at the questions that have come in. There's some comments about the food looking good. And do you deliver to Sheffield? I think I know the answer to that, but a bit too far out of your reach. You're muted. Hang on.
Sorry. I said, you never know. We might one day. Might be on our list.
Smehan, so much for sharing all about the work. Really encouraging of the difference that it makes. One of the questions, Smehan, was whether you do Deliveroo to Sheffield.
I just said to Neil, I said one day we might have to look at that and see if we can start doing Deliveroo or Just Eat.
It's a fantastic idea by Jane. Smehan, thank you so much for the work that you bring, and Dreamer and the team. behind all of this. Thank you so much for all that you bring, which is centre to the heart of the Marylebone Project. Folks, the amazing news this evening is that you can join in with this work. For Rahama and for Smahen, they've shared about different ways that you can get involved through volunteering and things like that. But you too can make a difference. You can make contact with us at Church Army, and as ways to get involved. You can have regular newsletters about the project. You can pray for this work. You can also choose to give to this work as well. As you can probably tell from the work in the sanctuary, we have increased our staffing structure significantly to support the women. Some of you viewing tonight already support the work of the Marylebone Project, and for this I thank you so much for your generosity. It literally saves lives and transforms the lives of vulnerable women. I want to put up on the screen a number of ways that you can actually choose to give to the Marylebone Project to support this work. And here's just some examples. £3, which I don't know, is that the cost of a coffee? So £3 would provide meals and afternoon activities in the sanctuary for a woman. £10, which I don't know is the price of a lunch for yourself. CV writing and employment skills workshop for a vulnerable woman. £30 per month would provide 4 exercise mats for our classes at the Marylebone Project to support and promote exercise and well-being for our vulnerable homeless ladies. And the next screen, please. £47 per month will provide a bedroom at the Marylebone Project for a woman in crisis. This includes access to our amazing support workers, food, drinks, access to cleaning, clothing, laundry facilities, showers, communal lounges, activities, and friendship. What an amazing gift to house a homeless woman until she's been empowered into independent living. £100 a month provides a starter pack, helping those leaving the Marylebone Project to set up in their own home and live independently. A pack contains things like bedding, kettle, toaster, cutlery, crockery, and various household essentials. What an amazing gift, what a wonderful gift to allow a vulnerable woman to get on her feet and move out into independent living. So whether it's £3, £10, £30, 47, or 100, or whatever you can afford. These are just examples. This will go to the heart of the Marylebone Project, to the sanctuary, to the difference that we're making with vulnerable women's lives. If you can put up that on the screen again for a moment, because that provides a way for you to, an easy way for you to donate, churcharmy.org/donate, and choose the Marylebone Project. Thank you for that. Let me be honest with you, for this amazing work to continue, it will be a challenge to keep it going long term, but I passionately, and we as Church Army, passionately believe in it. I encourage you, if you are not doing so already, to consider giving financially on a monthly basis in one of these ways. We normally say within Cuppa with the key worker that we try to keep it under an hour. We're coming up to 10 to 8. What I'd love for us to do is to pray for Rahama and Smahen and the team of staff and volunteers, but also for the women who use the centre and are housed within the Marylebone Project. Let's pray for this work. Father, thank you that caring for the homeless, the refugee, the isolated and the marginalised is part of our worship and our prayer to you. Thank you for the team that serve the women. Thank you for Smahen and her team. Thank you for Rahama and a team within the centre, the sanctuary. Thank you for all that they do to give and go above and beyond in serving these vulnerable women. We pray that all that is needed for this work, that it will thrive and grow and the gifts that we need will be provided, so that many more vulnerable women who have been refugees, who've been living on the street, beaten in their homes, can find empowerment and wholeness. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Leaves me just to say thank you for joining with us on Cuppa this evening. Our next Cuppa is on Wednesday, the 6th of October, and that's at 7 o'clock. I'm not sure if you've heard the story of a bunch of youth workers who were given a convent. If you're intrigued by that, why don't you come along to Cuppa with the Key Worker on the 6th of October at 7 p.m. If that's not a teaser, I don't know what is. Thank you for joining with us this month, and I look forward to you joining us on the 6th of October. Please do visit churcharmy.org, and if you can, and if you can afford, please do donate to the valuable work of the Marylebone Project. Thank you and goodbye.